Imagine waking up to the news: relentless predators, known for confronting lions and devouring venomous snakes, have been released in Florida. Yes, we're talking about honey badgers, considered by many as the most fearless animal on the planet. Could this be the definitive solution to the problem of Burmese pythons that are devastating the Everglades? Or are we about to trade one nightmare for an even bigger one? Florida has been living an ecological nightmare for more than 3 decades. Since the 1980s, Burmese pythons, native to Southeast Asia, have been establishing themselves in the Everglades. What began with a few irresponsibly discarded pets has transformed into an invasion that threatens the entire ecosystem. These snakes can grow to more than 5 meters in length and weigh over 90 kilograms. Extremely efficient predators, they feed on practically any animal they can swallow, from small rodents to deer and even alligators. It's estimated that there are tens of thousands of pythons in the Everglades today, and the effects have been devastating. Studies show that in some areas, 90% of medium-sized mammal populations have simply disappeared. Raccoons, rabbits, foxes, opossums, all practically extinct in some regions. And it's not just Burmese pythons. Florida faces problems with other invasive species such as the green anaconda, African pythons, and the boa constrictor, among many others. But none has had such a devastating impact as the Burmese python. The authorities have tried everything: professional hunters, hunting competitions, trackers with transmitters. Thousands of pythons have been removed, but this barely scratches the surface of the problem. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a bucket. This is where our hypothesis comes in. What if we introduced a natural predator? An animal evolved to hunt snakes, an animal that even the most venomous snakes cannot deter? The honey badger, or rattle, appears at first glance to be an unpretentious animal, weighing between 8 and 14 pounds. It's not particularly large or impressive, but whoever underestimates it makes a fatal mistake. These small predators are considered by many experts as the most fearless in the animal kingdom. Not just fearless, they're practically unstoppable. In Africa, honey badgers are known as expert snake hunters. Snakes that are feared even by elephants are just another item on the menu for the honey badger. The Cape cobra, one of the most venomous snakes on the planet. The honey badger not only hunts it, but has developed resistance to its venom. The puff adder, with venom capable of killing a human in hours. For the honey badger, it's just a snack. But what really interests us is its ability to hunt large constrictors. There are documented records of honey badgers preying on African rock pythons up to 4 meters long, snakes that can weigh double or more the weight of the honey badger itself. How is this possible? The honey badger is a perfectly adapted combat machine. It has an incredibly thick and loose skin, allowing it to turn and attack even when grabbed. Powerful claws that can tear through leather and scales. Extremely strong jaws with sharp teeth. And most importantly, unmatched tenacity. A honey badger simply doesn't give up. Additionally, it's intelligent. It knows how to attack snakes at their most vulnerable moments, such as during periods of lower metabolic rate when the snake is slower, and by targeting the most vulnerable points. So this would be the perfect solution to the python problem in Florida, right? A natural predator evolved to hunt exactly this type of prey. Before we explore whether this would really be a good idea or an ecological disaster waiting to happen, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. We bring weekly content about wildlife, ecology, and the conservation challenges we face. Let's start with the positive points. Why could the introduction of honey badgers theoretically help with the python problem? First, honey badgers are generalist predators, but they're also expert reptile predators. In Florida, they would find in Burmese pythons a perfect substitute for the African rock pythons they're already accustomed to hunting. Second, they are extremely adaptable. They can live in practically any habitat, from deserts to dense forest areas, as long as prey is available, and they're known to be opportunistic. Third, they are incredibly efficient. A single honey badger can patrol a considerable territory and eliminate several pythons throughout its life. And perhaps most importantly, unlike other native Florida predators, such as pumas or alligators, honey badgers have specifically evolved to deal with large constrictor snakes. But wait, before we start applauding this seemingly perfect solution, we need to consider what could go terribly wrong. History is full of examples of biocontrol that turned into ecological disasters. And the case of honey badgers in Florida would have all the ingredients to become another one of these cases. Let's start with the obvious. Honey badgers are generalist predators. Yes, they love hunting snakes, but they don't limit themselves to that. In fact, they eat practically anything they can kill. In Florida, besides invasive pythons, they would find a buffet of unprotected native species: native snakes, turtles, small mammals, ground-nesting birds, alligator eggs. Species already under pressure due to pythons would now face a new relentless predator. And what about the honey badger's natural predators? In Africa, lions and leopards occasionally hunt honey badgers from the standpoint of their usual diet. But even these supreme predators think twice before attacking. The honey badger's thick and loose skin, its repulsive odor, and its ferocity make it prey that can become unpleasant and not worth the risk. In Florida, potential predators such as the puma, black bear, and large alligators would probably be even more cautious. Bears and alligators would likely have fewer predatory encounters, either due to their usual diet or the different environment they typically inhabit. What could represent more predatory encounters might be the American puma, although powerful, tends to be more selective than its African cousin, the leopard, which could also have little effectiveness in controlling honey badgers. And here's the big problem. Without efficient predators to control their populations, honey badgers could reproduce freely. In a few generations, we would have traded the python problem for the honey badger problem, an invasive species that humans would have to deal with. Unfortunately, we've seen this movie before. Conservation history is full of examples of biocontrol that went terribly wrong. In Australia, they introduced the cane toad to control beetles that attacked sugarcane plantations. The result? An invasion of poisonous toads that devastates ecosystems to this day. In Florida itself, fish such as tilapia and lionfish were introduced and now dominate entire habitats, displacing native species. In New Zealand, weasels were introduced to control invasive rabbits. The weasels quickly ignored the rabbits and began decimating native birds that had no defenses against these predators. The fundamental problem is that generalist predators rarely restrict themselves to the intended target. They follow the law of least effort. Why pursue a dangerous python when there's a defenseless turtle right there? So the introduction of honey badgers in Florida to control Burmese pythons, brilliant solution or recipe for disaster. Science tells us it would almost certainly be a disaster. Although honey badgers could indeed reduce python populations, the cost to the rest of the ecosystem would likely be catastrophic. The uncomfortable truth is that for complex problems like invasive species, simple solutions rarely exist. Continuous population control, education to prevent new releases, research for innovative detection and eradication methods. These are the less glamorous but more responsible tools we have at our disposal. What do you think? Would it be worth the risk of introducing honey badgers in Florida? Or should we focus on less drastic solutions? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to leave your like, share with friends interested in conservation, and subscribe to the channel for more content about the fascinating challenges of wildlife and environmental preservation. See you in the next video.